Hello there. I want to answer a quick question that I've been asked about 5 times today because I've been visiting various clients who've had properties on the market previously. And the question is, why didn't my property sell? And every seller has in their own mind why a property didn't sell, and every agent has another reason why a property didn't sell. But realistically, there are just four reasons why your property hasn't sold. It could be one reason, it could be all four, it could be somewhere in between. So here they are. This is why your property hasn't previously sold if it's already been on the market. Number one, the price. Price. So when an agent comes out and gives you a valuation for your property, what they're actually doing is they're giving you the best estimate of what the market is dictating right now. They cannot categorically give you to the pound what your property is going to sell for. And there's two problems with price. If you overprice your property, hoping for lower offers, then you're cutting out of the market people who have a budget down here where you actually really want it. And secondly, if you underprice the property, people who can afford the property at a higher price think there's something wrong with it. If there's something that's too cheap, human nature tells us that there's something wrong with it. And it's exactly the same with property. So price, you have to get it right. You have to get it near enough on market value. Now, our best strategy is to put it up at slightly lower than market value with offers above and create a big buzz around that. And that's what pushes our price up. Number two, marketing. Now, the days of high street estate agents putting your property on Zoopla or Rightmove and then sit there and waiting for their phone to ring have long gone. Now we know this because the world has changed, and if your agent has not got good social media, and I don't just mean presence, I mean actual paid for marketing, because a lot of agents will say, oh, we will put you on Rightmove and Zoopla and then we will do social media. What they mean by social media is they will put it on their homepage, or they might put it in a couple of groups on Facebook. Now the reality is you have to pay, and the agent has to pay for marketing to get your property in front of a targeted audience. And this is the difference between a good agent and a bad agent. If your property isn't being seen by the right people, they're not going to come and buy it. Just over 50% of property last year was actually bought by people seeing it on Rightmove, Zoopla and the other property portals. So that's 40 odd, nearly 50% who bought it through another avenue, who saw the advert through another avenue. And that avenue was probably social media. So if your agent isn't marketing your property in the best possible way, then you're not going to get the buzz, the hype and the attention that your property needs to attract and obtain the right price. 3, the agent's ability. Now, the ability of your agent, once it's marketed, is something that people don't actually think about. Can your agent actually broker a good deal for you? Can they broker the best deal for you? Do they have that experience? Or are they a broker where someone phones up and makes an offer and then they just call you and go, oh, we've had this offer, what do you want to do with it? That's not what an agent should be doing. That agent should be talking to the buyer and getting that price up for you and really understanding the buyer, getting them on side and understanding how high they can actually go. And a good agent will have the ability to get a buyer to tell them and therefore get you the highest price. Number 4, the seller's motivation. So are you actually motivated to sell the property? As in, do you need to sell it? Or is it a case of you put it on the market and you've said to yourself, if I get above that price for it, because I think that's a really high price for it, then I'll sell it. That happens more often than what you actually think. If you look on even like Rightmove and Zoopla, you'll see properties in a certain area and you'll think, well, that's quite a high price for the area. And that's usually what's happening. It's a case of an agent pushed them and said, I can get you this price, would you sell it at that price? And they said, well, if you give me that price, yeah, because that's way above market. And that's what happens. That is the problem. If you're not motivated enough to sell your property, then it's probably not going to sell. That's sadly the reality of it. We have to take into consideration the other factors. But if you are a person who, if it sells, it sells, if it doesn't, it doesn't, then the likelihood that it will not sell. So you have to be motivated enough to sell it yourself. And being motivated also means communication with your agent, and your agent should be communicating with you. Well, they should ask you how often you want to communicate with them, but realistically it should be weekly or fortnightly. And in that, they should ask you basically the 4 questions that I've just answered now. Are you happy with the price? Are you happy with my marketing? Are you happy with what I'm doing for you? And are you happy that you still want to sell the property? If any of those are no, then something needs to be adjusted, and a good agent will be able to do that for you. So if you're wondering why your property hasn't sold, think of those 4 things that I've just mentioned: price, agent ability, marketing, and motivation, and which one is the problem.